I'm Mary. Thanks for coming in today. Did you happen to have a chance to look through the information pack I sent out, and was everything clear in there? Do you have any questions about that?
No, it's all very clear.
So just to clarify, regarding confidentiality, everything that you say to me will remain confidential within this service. However, if I thought you might be going to harm yourself or someone else, I might need to disclose that information to a third party. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Everything's clear with that, and you signed the form in the information pack?
I definitely did, yes.
Okay, so just to double check some details, your full name is Rebecca King and your birth date is the 11th of September 1971.
Yes, that's right.
Great. So we'll get started now, Beck, but we only have quite a brief 10-minute session today. So how about you begin by telling me what's brought you here today?
Look, I'm just feeling anxious and worried all the time, and mostly at work, but sometimes even at home or when I'm supposed to be going out somewhere. I'm feeling worried and anxious.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds as if you're feeling really quite worried and anxious, and it's perhaps affecting you work-wise and maybe in some of your social relationships with some avoidance, but you can't really pinpoint why, and you're feeling perhaps a little bit confused. I imagine that must feel quite stressful.
Yes, yeah, that's it. In fact, I almost feel panicky a lot of the time.
I can see that you've got some tension in your shoulders there and you're wringing your hands a little bit and you're quite fidgety. Can you describe any other feelings that come with those thoughts and feelings of worry and anxiety?
Yeah, actually, now you ask me, I sometimes get sweaty palms and my heart seems to be pounding a lot, and I get butterflies in my tummy, and sometimes I feel like I'm going to be sick even, and dry mouth. Yeah, I do. I feel a lot of those things.
Right, so it sounds as if you experience quite a few physical sensations like dry mouth, racing heart, sweaty palms and that muscle tension there. Can you visualise any thoughts that seem to occur or accompany these physical sensations in your body and describe them to me?
Mostly it's about my work as a teacher. I worry about it a lot. I worry about, doing the right thing for the kids in the class and dealing with the parents properly, and I sometimes wake up at night thinking about it.
So you're thinking a lot about your work, and that seems to be affecting your anxiety levels, and they're increasing steadily. Are you able to elaborate a little bit on some specific work issues? Perhaps give me a few more details.
Yeah, it's a bit strange actually. I'm normally really capable and confident as a teacher, and I actually won a state award last year. I love the kids and I enjoy watching them develop, and it's so rewarding. But lately I'm feeling a bit useless, and there's lots of staffing issues I try to manage, and there's issues with parents that I had to deal with as a head teacher. And I actually went for a promotion as head of girls, and I thought I was pretty certain that I would have got it, and I didn't get it. And there's report time and there's marking, and I've got to write Year 12 references at the moment, and I'm just feeling so stressed. I'm actually wondering if I should stay in teaching.
So what I'm hearing, Beck, is perhaps some mixed messages there. It sounds as if you really love your work and you love the kids you teach, and you actually really enjoy what you do, and recently you've had some quite significant recognition through that state award. But you are starting to question, if you want to stay in teaching. What do you make of that?
Oh, I can see that might be a bit of a contradiction, because I do love the work, and I think I'm maybe just getting a bit bogged down at the moment with the disappointment about the promotion, and maybe I've lost my confidence a bit. I can see that I've got my strengths, but I still get really worried and worked up.
I can understand that missing out on that promotion was probably quite tough for you. Are you able to describe any other thoughts that might be contributing to your worry other than those work issues?
I guess I think a lot about Charlie. He's my younger brother, and everything's really great for him. He's recently got married to a great girl, and they're expecting their first child, and he's a teacher also, and he got a promotion as a principal at a really good school. And I guess we're always competing a bit, and I feel like I'm not as good as him, and I'm a bit inadequate, and by comparison to him, I almost feel like I want his life.
So Charlie, your younger brother's recently been married and had some significant success at work, and they're expecting their first baby. From what you're saying, it's as if you'd really love to experience those things too. Do I have that right?
Yeah, actually I'm desperate to have what he has. I actually get quite irritated and resentful thinking about all this success, and I worry that I look sort of pathetic and boring compared to him. I'm feeling quite inadequate actually.
So I'm getting that you might almost feel a bit jealous or bitter about Charlie's fortunate circumstances. From what you've said, I'm also sensing perhaps an undercurrent of guilt and a little bit of shame about these feelings. Am I on the right track with that?
Actually, yeah, I think so. I don't want to feel jealous because he deserves his wonderful life, and I really love him, I do, but I'm actually embarrassed and ashamed of that, of the feelings.
I can tell from what you're saying, Beck, that you really love and admire Charlie, but you can't but help feel those twinges of jealousy because he has those things in life that you'd actually really like. Does that sound accurate to you?
It does.
Can we try and explore that a little bit further, perhaps?
I suppose if I'm honest, it's probably actually that my relationship with Tim doesn't compare to Charlie's really happy marriage.
And Tim's your partner?
Yes, he is.
So, Beck, it's great that you've been able to be so reflective. I think that was pretty courageous of you to be able to admit that perhaps there's some underlying relationship problems with your own partner. Are you able to share any of those relationship concerns a little bit further with me? Just take your time.
I wish Tim would propose. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want marriage or children, and I really want those things. Actually, I probably think he doesn't love me.
So marriage and children are really important to you, but you feel as if they might not be priorities for Tim, your partner. Do I have that correct?
Yeah. Mm.
And you've also mentioned there that you think Tim might not love you anymore, but can you tell me if you have any evidence to support that idea?
Well, he always wants us to go out, and I just prefer to stay home with the two of us.
So is there perhaps any other way that you might be able to look at that?
I'm not sure I understand what you're meaning.
Oh, so could it actually be that he loves you so much and enjoys spending time with you so much that he wants to take you out and show you off to your friends?
Oh, maybe. We used to go out a lot with friends when we first started seeing each other. And actually, he did send me flowers to work last week. Maybe I'm overreacting a bit.
Beck, I think it's great how you've been able to reframe your thoughts right there. Unfortunately, our time is nearly up today, but to summarise, I think what we've discussed today perhaps reflects that there are a few concerns relating to your rising anxiety right now, and I believe that there's some work stresses going on. You work a pretty high-powered job, and it's a job you love, but have, you're making some questions about your career right now. We've also talked about some relationship conflicts with your partner Tim, and perhaps possible shared values and future direction, and also perhaps some jealousy issues and competitiveness going on there with your brother Charlie. Does that sound like an accurate account of what's happening to you right now?
Yeah, absolutely. That's correct.
So are you able to identify which of those areas you feel the strongest about right now and that we should make our initial focus?
I think it's the anxiety. It really bothers me. Tim and my work colleagues have commented on it quite a lot.
Okay, Beck, so I'm hearing that it's really that rising anxiety that makes you feel uncomfortable so much and so worrisome, and that's because it's perhaps being noticed by those people that are close and around you all the time, like your partner Tim and your colleagues. In our next sessions, if you like, we could unpack the underlying issues about your anxiety and develop some skills to deal with it. Does that sound like a good way of proceeding?
Yeah, it does, definitely, yep.
So I was wondering, between now and our next session, would you be able to complete a simple activity for me to help us understand what's really going on with your anxiety?
What would that involve?
So it's just a small reflective worksheet where you note down the particular situation that's causing you worry and anxiety, and you identify any thoughts, emotions or physical sensations in your body that you're experiencing accompanying that anxiety. So how does that sound to you?
It sounds fine, but I don't quite see how writing down things is going to help. I've had some of my friends come to counsellors before and have done similar things.
Sure, so I can appreciate that it seems like a bit of a stretch that, you know, how can writing something down really kind of help me get to the bottom of my anxiety? So could we perhaps reframe the perspective that we're coming at it from? I guess I'm asking you to maybe say to yourself, what have I got to lose by trying this? And maybe consider it as a bit of a test or an experiment or problem-solving activity. How would you feel about framing it that way?
Okay, when you put it like that, I suppose I can give it a go.
Good on you, Beck. Thanks for giving it a go. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday, and we'll have a longer time to chat about the anxiety and unpacking those issues further. So thanks for coming in today.
Okay, thanks Mary for seeing me.